Good evening, everyone. This regular meeting of the Board of Trustees is being held Tuesday, April the 19th, 2022. The meeting is being called to order, and the time is 6:01. We have a special guest in-house. We have a young lady that will help us. She's going to lead us in the pledge. Please join me in standing for the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Samantha Estrada. She's a 7th grader at Herschel Antwine Middle School.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic over which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Thank you, Samantha. Let's proceed to our next item. That'll be our superintendent's comments.
Thank you, Mr. Morales. Good evening, President Morales, members of the board. Welcome to our community. I hope everyone had a restful and safe holiday. I have some new personnel introductions to make for some new leaders in SISD, and if they are present this evening, I would just ask them to stand and be recognized. First, I'd like to welcome Emma Romero as the new Dean of Instruction at East Lake High School. Next, I'd like to welcome Cassandra Hernandez as the new Dean of Instruction of Montwood High School. I'd also like to welcome Lorena Gomez as the new Dean of Instruction of Pebble Hills High School. And our last new personnel that I'd like to welcome, Esther Valle, the new Assistant Principal of East Lake High School. I'd like to share with the board and our community that I have had the opportunity to visit each of our Team SISD campuses now. As a matter of fact, I was able to complete the campus tours just today. I wrapped it up at Sunridge and Lujan Chavez this afternoon. I want to thank each and every one of you that made my visit so productive, informative, and fun. The students never cease to amaze me. I saw so many great things throughout our district, and I look forward to being your humble leader and seeing much more. We do have some upcoming events I'd like to announce. This Thursday, April 21st, we'll be having our first community meeting at Socorro High School at 5:30 p.m. I welcome each of you to attend and bring as many guests as you can. We will be offering tours that evening of the new campus. On Friday, April 22nd, we will be having our 2022 Volunteer Program Recognition and Awards event at the Region 19 Starlight venue at 11 a.m. On Monday, April 25th, we'll have our groundbreaking ceremony for our new SAC at 10 a.m. It's a wonderful opportunity for our students and community to have a second location to enjoy additional athletic events and fine arts activities as well. Next week, on Thursday, April 28th, we will have our second community meeting at America's High School. I would encourage the same as with Socorro High School, bring as many guests as you can gather. This will be taking place at 5:30 p.m., and at each of our community meetings, there will be refreshments and entertainment courtesy of our students. On Friday, April 29th, we will be having our Partners in Education recognition event at the Monte Cristo Party Hall at 11 a.m. And lastly, we will be conducting a climate survey to get feedback on the current state of Socorro ISD, and we would ask all parents to complete those. Parents and employees to complete those. The surveys will be open from April 25th to May 1st, 2022. Parents and all school employees will receive an email inviting them to fill out the 2022 SISD Climate Survey. A link to the survey for parents will also be available on the district website, and a link for employees will be available on the My SISD employee portal. We look forward to hearing from our employees and parents. Thank you. This concludes my comments.
Thank you, Dr. Carmen. At this time, we have board honors. Mr. Daniel Escobar, our presenter. He'll begin with the Autism Awareness Month, and we'll follow that with our student recognition.
Thank you, President Morales, members of the board, and Superintendent Dr. Carmen. My name is Daniel Escobar, Chief Communications Officer, and as stated, our first presentation will be led by Dr. Analia Jansen, Director of Special Education for the district.
Good evening, Board President Morales, Superintendent Dr. Carmen, and board members. April is Autism Awareness Acceptance Month, and it gives me great pleasure to introduce today a team of dedicated professionals that serve students with autism to provide them with endless opportunities. Today, this team and a group of students have a short presentation for you. Please welcome Diane Flores, an autism spectrum disorder specialist who has served ASD's community with great pride for the last 12 years.
Good evening, Board President Morales, Superintendent Dr. Carmen, and board members. Happy to be here. You guys ready? Ready. It's like I'm at the spring games or something. So really briefly, I mean, April is known as Autism Awareness and Acceptance. That's something new, right? It's not just enough that we're aware. It's that acceptance component. And I think here in SISD, we take a lot of pride in the service that we provide our community, our parents. I'm not just saying this because I work for SISD, but we do have a reputation to offer the best services for individuals with autism here in Socorro. So thank you for allowing us to do that. The prevalence of autism has, it's now 1 in 44. Back when I started in this area, it was like 1 in 1,000. So our prevalence has a drastic change, and our numbers aren't getting lower. Here in SISD, we're serving over 900 students with autism. So just so you know, that's how many students we have here in our district, and they're growing. We're a growing community, right? And so we have families from the military that come here, and they want to be in SISD. And that puts a big smile in our faces and in our hearts, because that's what we're here for, to serve them. And, we offer a lot of activities for our parents and our students as well. So just really briefly, so you know what we do here, we offer monthly parent support groups. We also offer monthly parent make and takes. Those are activities where the parents come together, and then we help them to provide and make supports that they can use at home and out in the community. And then we also have our Siblings Connect night. And so that is a night where a lot of the times our families that have different children, and a lot of the focus goes to our individuals with autism, and the siblings kind of, because they're more self-sufficient or independent, they don't get a lot of that focus. So we like to give them a night where they can come, and it's all about them. And we celebrate the siblings as well. So we offer that once a month. And then we have our teen social night, a night out in the community with families. They go bowling, they go to the movies. It's a fun night building on those social skills. We also have a Scope Center, a student center. We are one of the only districts that has a student center for our individuals with autism, available to all our 900 students. And then we have, of course, our summer camp. It's a 1 week, long week. God, why can't I talk today, guys? So anyways, it's a week. Let me just get more casual with you. It's a week long, and it helps our students transition back into a new school year. We know that transitions are difficult for our individuals, so we offer this week for them to generalize their skills from home into the community, and then it also helps them wake up early, start getting back into that routine, so that first day of school is not as bad as it is for most of us. So it's a nice summer camp. We have a lot of fun, and we do a lot of fun activities with our students. All right, so with that, I want to introduce to you, we brought some students here from Enzer Middle School. We have Santiago Duarte. He's a 7th grader, and he's going to read a beautiful poem for you. We have Josiah White. Diego Balderas, Andrew Gartner, and Ian Ortega, and Orlando Gabriel Garcia. And these are all students from our Access program. Okay, so I want to introduce them right now. And this is Santiago.
Hey, hello everyone.
Good evening.
Before we start, you want to hear a joke?
Yes, go ahead. We sure do.
When does a joke become a dad joke? When it becomes apparent.
That's a good one.
And then after that matter, we will get to the poem. Endlessly unique. You see me? My energy might speak to you. I distract you. You hear me? My song might hum or bang. Might be too loud. You feel me? My space might be so far. Might be too close. Picture it. See it in black and white. Play it. Over and over and over and over. Feel it. Not too soft and not too hard. Here I am, often complex, often misunderstood. I'm talent unbound. I am expression with no limit. I am the spectrum of colors and reality of vivid imaginations. I am endlessly unique.
And now, the students will like to offer you a gift. They have a gift for you.
Thank you.
At this time, we'd like to invite Dr. Carmen, trustees down. We can take a photo with our students who participated as well as our instructional leaders. Yes, sir. Get everybody there? All right, if we can have everybody just look right at Mr. Largo right here in the center. Keep smiling, keep smiling. Thank you all so much again for a beautiful presentation. And we'll go ahead and continue with our recognitions. Our first honor will recognize SISD art students for winning top honors for their creative and innovative artwork that advanced them to the state competition in the high school visual arts scholastic event. The annual VASE competition recognizes exemplary student achievement in visual arts and provides the artists a high standard of excellence to work toward. Two of this year's SISD VASE state qualifiers received $200 scholarships in the first annual El Paso Art Association student exhibition based on their artwork that earned the highest rating of 4 in the regional VASE competition. Congratulations to all the SISD VASE winners. They are from Eastlake High School, Jalen de la Paz. Jonah Alvarez. Mary Luz Rubio. From El Dorado High School, Anaya Chavez. From Montwood High School, Bethany Gold. And Jasmine Mata. And from Pebble Hills High School, Maya Castañeda. If we can have you all return to the front for a photo, please. You want to open up your... And just a quick note that the photos taken by our district photographer, Akavia Sargo, are posted on the district website. There's a camera icon on the bottom right-hand corner of our front page. And the photos there are available for free high-resolution download. Congratulations once again. Next, we will honor SISD middle and high school students for advancing to and competing at the 2022 Texas Science and Engineering Fair. Of the 61 students who advanced, 13 of them made it to the final round of the state fair, including Gabriela Garay, a sixth grader from Sunridge Middle School, who finished third in cellular and molecular biology in the junior division. Jose Ruiz, a freshman at America's High School, earned engineering sweepstakes at the Sun Country Regional Science and Engineering Fair and will compete at the International Science and Engineering Fair, which will be held in Atlanta in May. Socorro ISD had the highest number of participants in the region at the state contest. Congratulations to these outstanding science fair winners. The students will be recognized by school level, and we will begin with our middle school students. From Bill Seibert School, Nicole Padin. Huascar Diaz Perez. From Enzer Middle School, David Estrada. And Ethan Govea. From Desert Wind School, Xavier Castillo. From Herschel Antoine Middle, Carson Dunlop. And John Estrada. From John Drugan School, Daniela Chacon. Caitlin Guevara. Mandana Kargar. Mia Sinclair. Montserrat Ortega. Nikki Carrillo. From Hernando Middle, Anastasia Gutierrez. And from Sunridge Middle, Gabriela Garay. Students, if we can have you back to the front for a photo, please. Thank you, Manuel. Keep smiling, looking straight ahead. Congratulations once again. Continuing with our high school students from America's High School, Abigail Hinojos. Carlos Garcia. Caroline Garcia. Jose Ruiz. Ethan Valderrama. Leah Longoria. From Eastlake High School, Alexia Dosal. Odith Zuniga. From El Dorado High School, Andrea Rodriguez. Brian Miner. From Mission Early College High School, Angela Jurado. Arissa Morales. Gabriela Mendoza. Gabriela Trevino. Gloria Hernandez. Itza Hernandez. Jaden Ruiz. Jerelia Talamantes. Luis Reyes. Rodolfo Moreno. Valentina Basabe. Samantha Villarreal. From Montwood High School, Samantha. From Pebble Hills High School, Maximo Mendoza. And Nyla Hyman. Students, if we can have you back to the front for a photo, please. I think we see everybody. Certificates up, facing Mr. Largo. keep smiling, looking straight ahead. Congratulations once again. Our next recognitions honor 4 SISD boys varsity soccer teams for earning 2021-2022 UIL championships. First, we begin with the El Dorado High School boys varsity soccer team for winning a UIL 5A by-district championship. The Aztecs finished their third in district with a 9-5 overall record before going on to win that by-district championship. Congratulations to the El Dorado High School boys varsity soccer team. They are Adrian Pierce, Alan Acosta, Alex Ortiz, Anwar Ordaz, Aaron Perez, Christian Lucero, Derek Hernandez, Edgar Guzman, Emilio Olivas, Garrick Felix, Ian Aguilar, Ivan Delgado, Javier Hernandez, Jose Luis Enriquez, Justin Uribe, Marcus Flores, Michael Salazar, Noah Moreno, Omar Rodriguez, Osvaldo Teruel, Ulises Echeverria, Walter Puentes, Zaid Diaz. Team managers are Alejandro Sainz, Ariadne Perez, assistant coach Carlo Ronquillo, and they're led by head coach Osvaldo Saucedo. If we can have you all back up to the front for a photo, please. Keep smiling, keep smiling. Congratulations again. Next, we will recognize the Pebble Hills High School boys varsity soccer team for winning a UIL 6A by-district championship. The Spartans had a 9-5 district record and finished with an overall record of 17-7-1. Congratulations to the Pebble Hills High School boys varsity soccer team. Representing the team tonight are Angel Vasquez, Brian Lira, Dylan Martinez, Irvin Garcia, Jacobo Alatorre, Kenneth Munoz, Leonardo Granados, Marcus Torres, Marico Dominguez, Robert Garcia, Tristan Edwards, Yair Terrazas, and they're led by head coach Mario Garcia. If we can have you please return for a photo. Congratulations once again. Next, we will recognize the Socorro High School boys varsity soccer team for winning a UIL 6A by district championship. The Bulldogs claimed an 8-6 district record and an overall record of 16-8. Congratulations to the Socorro High School boys varsity soccer team. They are Aaron Sanchez, Angel Lugo, Armando Lomas, Brandon Macias, Brian Rodriguez, Carlo Lucio, Christian Orozco, Damian Hernandez, David Mesa, Edgar Lerma, Ernesto Flores, Irving Boucher, Nicolás Amparan Tarín, Ricardo Vega, Salvador Melendez, Sebastián Aguilera, Steve Marquez, Yair Mesa, Yair Roby Martinez, Andrea Salas, Derek, team manager Andrea Salas and Derek Lerma, Kayla Hurt, assistant coaches Javier Esparza, Luis Perez, and they're led by head coach Alex Alvarez. If we can have you all please back to the front for a photo. Sorry. All right, everybody looking right, front and center with Mr. Largo. Keep smiling, looking forward. Congratulations once again. Next, we will recognize the Eastlake High School boys varsity soccer team for having a tremendous season, winning UIL 16A district, 6A by district, area, and regional quarterfinal championships. This season, the Falcons scored over 100 goals and earned a 12-2 district record and a 22-3 overall record. Their tradition of excellence on the field allowed them to rank amongst the best in the state and nation. Congratulations to the Eastlake High School boys varsity soccer team. Alfonso Blancas. Alan Mendez, Angel Orecio, Brandon Salas, Brian Aguirre, Derek Porras, Diego Floriano, Edgar Hernandez, Eduardo Munoz, Eric De La Rosa, Gabriel Aguirre, Gael Barragan, Gio Mora, Gustavo Muela, Hector Marin, Jordan Whitner, Justin Quiñones, Michael Ayala, Rafael Rodriguez, Sam Munoz, Xavier Piñado, their team manager and number one supporter, Tito Rodriguez, assistant coaches are Larry Durbin, Noe Velada, and they're led by head coach Gilbert Widner. If we can have you all back to the front, please. Yeah. See everybody? Perfect. Everybody ready to go? Looking right here, Mr. Largo. Keep smiling, keep smiling. Congratulations once again. Our final presentation this evening honors two extraordinary educators for earning the 2021-2022 Recognized American School Counselor Association Model Program designation. These two counselors were the only counselors to earn the award in the state of Texas and were recognized among only 69 schools across 19 states. The honor is awarded to counselors who are committed to delivering comprehensive, data-informed school counseling and an exemplary educational environment. Congratulations to the winners, Rosie Rodriguez of Chester E. Jordan Elementary, and Zulema Zuniga of Sergeant Roberto Ituarte Elementary. If we can have the two of you join our board leadership right here in the center for a photo. Right there. There we go. Congratulations once again. And that concludes our recognitions for this evening. Thank you. Thank you, Maribel.
Worn out after all that.
Going to move to item 5 here. I'm going to wait just a couple of seconds. We wait until the presentation. Excuse me, item 6. We included item 5 with our earlier presentation. Board of Trustees business. A, consider approval of proclamation of National School Nurses, or Nurse Day, May the 11th, 2022. Proclamation for National School Nurse Day acknowledges the accomplishments of the Socorro Independent School District school nurses in meeting the needs of today's students by improving the effective delivery and health care in our schools. Our presenter is Rebecca Madrid.
Thank you. Good evening. Well, you pretty much said everything I was going to say, so thank you.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
I want to hear it from you, though.
But I do like to present. We have the honor of a student from Mountwood High School. His name is Hamad Del Valle, who is also a member of the marching band. He's going to do us the honor of reading the proclamation. His mama is also the school nurse for Lujan Chavez. Mr. Hamad.
Good evening, Dr. Carmen, board members. Proclamation National School Nurse Day, May 11th, 2022. 2022 theme, School Nurses, Bridging Healthcare and Education. Whereas students are the future, and by investing in them today, we are ensuring our world for tomorrow. And whereas families deserve to feel confident that their children will be cared for when they are at school. And whereas all students have a right to have their physical and mental needs safely met while in the school setting. And whereas students today face more complex and life-threatening health problems requiring care in school. And whereas the COVID-19 pandemic has emphasized the essential role school nurses play in student health and academic success. And whereas school nurses have served a critical role in improving public health and ensuring students' academic success for more than 100 years. And whereas school nurses address the home and community factors, for example, social determinants, that impact students' health. And whereas school nurses act as a liaison to the school community, families, and healthcare providers on behalf of children's health by promoting wellness and improving health outcomes for our nation's children. And whereas school nurses support the health and educational success of children and youth by providing access to care when children's cognitive development is at its peak. And whereas school nurses are members of school-based teams, for example, School Health Services, 504, IEP Disaster, and Emergency Planning, to address the school population. And whereas school nurses understand the link between health and learning and are in a position to make a positive difference for children every day. Therefore be it resolved, the National Association of School Nurses celebrates and acknowledges the accomplishments of school nurses everywhere and their efforts of meeting the needs of today's students by improving the delivery of healthcare in our schools, and offers gratitude for the nation's school nurses who contribute to our local communities by helping students stay healthy, in school, ready to learn, and keeping parents and guardians at work, not just on this National School Nurse Day, but at every opportunity throughout the year. Thank you.
So now I ask for recommendation for your approval, the proclamation.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Castellano and a second by Mr. Barrera. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries. Congratulations. Our next item, 6B, consider approval of renaming John Drugan School Gymnasium. Our presenter, Daniel Escobar.
Thank you, President Morales, Dr. Carmen, members of the board. Following policy, a proposal to rename the John Drugan School Gym after Susan Cook was submitted and approved by the Campus School Improvement Team, or CIT, as well as our cabinet leadership team. Here to present the item and request for your approval is Jennifer Avila, principal of John Drugan School.
Good evening, Dr. Carmen, President Morales, and board members. It gives me great pleasure to be here today in representing our school, John Drugan. I am the proud principal, and I've had an opportunity to meet Susan Cook, and we are here this evening to ask in your support to rename our school gym after her. The gym would be titled Susan M. Cook. I have one of my colleagues and lifetime friend of Mrs. Cook that will be sharing some of her school accolades. Ms. Milden?
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening, President Morales, esteemed board members, and Dr. Carmen. Thank you for having us. Up on the screen, everybody can see I'm here to present to you Susan Cook, and it's kind of hard to put into words what she embodied, but she embodied everything that Socorro District stands for. Susan Cook came here in 1986 from Dickinson, North Dakota. She first worked with us in Horizon Heights, Elfida P. Chavez. She was at Myrtle Cooper. She was an AP there as well as at Loma Verde. She was Teacher of the Year while she was at Horizon Heights and at Elfida P. Chavez. And at John Drugan, she served us from 2005 upon its opening until she retired from the state of Texas in 2013. And while she was there, our school held both recognized and exemplary status. I implore you to consider this. Susan Cook was not only an educator, she was an avid runner. I speak to you as not only a staff member, but as a parent. And she welcomed my children into that school. They went there from pre-K to 8th grade before they moved on to America's High School and now going to college. After a long battle with cancer, we lost Susan last year. And I just think it would be a wonderful way to honor her memory by naming the gym after her. And our track program at John Drugan has done fundraisers and will be financing this, the renaming, the painting, and the plaques that will be placed there. So I implore you to do that. I thank you for your time, and have a great evening. Thank you.
Motion to rename the John Drugan School Gymnasium after Susan M. Cook. Second.
Motion was made by Mr. Eddie Mena and a second by Mr. Castellano. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Our next item, consider approval of renaming Socorro High School Athletic Training Facility.
Yes, sir. Again, following policy, a proposal to rename the Socorro High School Athletic Training Facility after Marcy Strutz was submitted and approved by the Campus School Improvement Team as well as our Cabinet Leadership Team. Here to present that recommendation is Dr. Ignacio Astorga, the principal of Socorro High School.
Good evening, SISD Board Trustees, President Morales, and Superintendent Dr. Carmen. My name is Dr. Ignacio Astorga, proud principal of Socorro High School. I'm here on behalf of the Socorro High School SIT Committee to respectfully request that the athletic training facility at Socorro High School be changed to Marcy Strutz Sports Medicine. On November 7th, 2021, at 11 a.m. in Fargo, North Dakota, at 63 years of age, our dear Marcy gained her wings. She was a devoted partner, daughter, sister, friend, teacher, and most importantly, a role model to many of our mighty Bulldogs. Marcy Strutz was born in Oaks, North Dakota on October 22nd, 1958. Being the middle child of 6 siblings and the only female, Marcy learned quickly how to stand her ground and make her voice heard. She was a force to be reckoned with, even at a time when women weren't necessarily encouraged to be, but was extremely compassionate with a gentle, nurturing soul. These traits carried on into her adulthood as well. This ultimately led her into the field of teaching and athletic training. In 1981, Marcy graduated from North Dakota State University with a bachelor's degree in athletic training, followed by a master's degree in sports health from Texas Tech in 1983. This brought Marcy to El Paso and her first athletic training job at Jefferson High School from 1984 to 1986. It was at Socorro High School, however, that she would find her permanent home. From 1986 to 2016, for 30 years, Marcy gave her time and herself to developing the sports medicine program at Socorro High School. Before she retired, Marcy was part of the 2009 state championship baseball team at Socorro. She developed their athletic training program and advocated for and helped design the current sports facility on campus. Marcy also served as physical education department head, where she began the intramural program to keep kids engaged and try to keep them out of trouble during lunch and after school. She also assisted the coaches with all the Letterman needs, the Letterman jackets on the campus. Despite all these long hours, she still found time to take care of and render aid to faculty and staff when needed. Marcy was named as one of the District 6 Pioneer Women of the National Athletics Trainers Association, served as the Sun City Athletics Trainers Association president for 4 years, and then held the secretary position for 6 years after that. Marcy was inducted into the Sun City Athletic Trainers Association Hall of Fame in 2012. Though Marcy never had any biological children, in reality, she impacted thousands of students at Socorro High School. Being an educator, athletic trainer, her students and athletes both loved her and respected her immensely. And absolutely, every one of them were her kids. Marcy touched the lives of all around her and was a true inspiration to us all. The legacy she leaves behind is incomparable and will be remembered by all of her former students who are currently serving as athletic trainers and some in the healthcare professionals at this time. So at this time, we would like to continue Marcy's legacy by renaming the Sports Medicine Facility to Marcy Struts Sports Medicine Facility.
Motion to approve of renaming Socorro High School Athletic Training Facility to Marcy Struts.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Pablo Barrera and a second by Mr. Eddie Mena. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Item D, report and announcement of board members' continuing education credit hours. As required by the Texas Administrative Code, Chapter 61.1, I, David Morales, will announce the completion or deficiency as to required training for our board members. I will announce those board members who have scheduled timely training throughout the course of the year. Myself, David Morales, has completed the required continuing education hours in topic 1, scheduled to participate in the Evaluating and Improving Student Outcomes training on April 23rd, 2022. Has completed the required continuing education hours in topic 2 and has exceeded his credit hours in topic 3. Mr. Ricardo Castellano has completed the required continuing education hours in topic 1, scheduled to participate in the Evaluating and Improving Student Outcomes training on April 23rd, 2022, has completed the required continuing education hours in topic 2, and has exceeded his credit hours in topic 3. We have Eduardo Mena has completed the required continuing education hours in topic 1, scheduled to participate in the Evaluating and Improving Student Outcomes training on April 23rd, 2022, has completed the required continuing education hours in topic 2, and has exceeded his credit hours in topic 3. Mr. Pablo Barrera has completed the required continuing education hours in topic 1, scheduled to participate in the Evaluating and Improving Student Outcomes training on April 23rd, 2022, has completed the required continuing education hours in topic 2, and has exceeded his credit hours in topic 3. Mr. Paul Guerra has completed the required continuing education hours in topic 1, scheduled to participate in the Evaluating and Improving Student Outcomes training on April 23rd, 2022, has completed the required continuing education hours in topic 2, and has exceeded his credit hours in topic 3. Cindy Nahara has completed the required continuing education hours in topic 1, scheduled to participate in the Evaluating and Improving Student Outcomes training on April 23rd, 2022, has completed the required continuing education hours in Topic 2 and has exceeded her credit hours in Topic 3. And finally, Mr. Michael Nahara has completed the required continuing education hours in Topic 1, scheduled to participate in the evaluating and improving student outcomes training, and on April 23rd, 2022, has completed the required continuing education hours in Topic 2 and has completed his credit hours in Topic 3. Congratulations to our board who have done their due diligence in completing their hours. This time we'll move to open forum. Before I do so, I will have to read just a quick statement. The district is a local government body charged with serving the educational needs of all school children in our district. And the board meetings must be focused on meeting this charge. The district board meetings are public meetings under the Texas Open Meetings Act to conduct the business of the district. They are not, however, meetings of the public. Therefore, all persons in attendance are expected to display civility and decorum. Individuals shall refrain from using harmful and offensive content for respect of the rights and reputations of others. We greatly appreciate those individuals who have requested to speak to the board during open forum or in regards to a specific agenda item. We are bound by certain time constraints in order to cover all the items on the agenda, and therefore, we must limit presentations to 5 minutes. Please respect the rights of others in your presentations. By law, the board cannot take any action upon or discuss any item which is not posted on tonight's agenda. But we will give all presentations our serious consideration. Thank you. Let's proceed to open forum. I reach to get the list. Our first speaker, we have Ms. Veronica Hernandez. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, President Morales, members of the board, and Dr. Carmen. My name is Veronica Hernandez, and I am the proud president of the largest, most active organization in the Socorro district, the Socorro American Federation of Teachers. Our organization has conducted an employee member climate survey of SISD employees. As of today, we have gotten responses from over 1,000 people. Tonight, I want to share a summary and key observations of that survey with you. The number one concern, with 90% of respondents, said that a base salary is of the most importance right now. This is no surprise, with a national inflation rate of over 7.9%, and in our area, including Socorro, 8.5 inflation rate. 81.6 of those respondents said that a pay raise would mean added financial stability for them and their families. They made such comments as, "We need financial stability. I had to file bankruptcy. I can't afford a college fund for my children. I live paycheck to paycheck." Those are just some examples. 78.2% said they do not feel they have a healthy work-life balance, with the top reason for it being an overwhelming workload. Comments such as, "I am always too tired. I don't have any time for my own family or children. I've had to miss my own children's events," etc. 79.2% responded that they feel that the district takes them for granted. 54.6% said that they would leave the district if they could get another position at this time. Imagine that's half of this room. Overall, the results of the survey paint a picture of weariness fueled by a rising workload and lacking public school funding, most especially inadequate salaries and wages. An overwhelming majority of the respondents stated that they've considered leaving public education over the past year. Our members are worried about their base needs, salary and workload, and from a broader perspective, a view of public school funding. There is an outcry for respect. At the last SISD budget workshop, a proposal brought forth by administration called for a 2% salary increase and a 1,000 ESSER stipend was made for me. This is an insult and shows no respect. Salaries of Texas public school teachers have fallen over the past 11 years when adjusted for inflation. This is just teachers. Can you imagine our paraprofessionals? The district average salary for district administration in Texas is $108,367. The average base pay for a paraprofessional who could be a certified interpreter or an educational aide in the classroom is $22,221, nearly 5 times less than administrators. School boards are responsible for hiring superintendents and approving pay rates. They can take action to narrow the salary gulf. Socorro ISD knows that SISD can do better. The current cost of SISD annual salaries is $281.4 million, which makes up about 61% of the budget expenditures for fiscal year 2022. For reference, 1% of the total current salaries is the equivalent of roughly 2.6% of the general fund balance and less than 1% of the total budget for SISD. SISD fund balance remains strong despite the 2021 deficit. And despite recent declines in the general fund balance, the ratio of the fund balance to expenditure remains high and well within the SISD policy perimeters. With the extra monies from property taxes, the millions of dollars granted to SISD and ESSER funds that needs to be used and invested in our schools and our employees, and the healthy funds balance, SISD should be considering at least a 10% raise. Plus another $1,000 ESSER stipend and a minimal hourly starting wage rate of no less than $15 per hour. We urge you to take a closer look at the budget and have Mr. Reza come back with a more appropriate salary proposal that really shows true respect. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to move to our next speaker, Ms. Maria Nieto.
Good evening, President Morales, Superintendent, Dr. Carmen, Board of Trustees. My name is Maria Nieto. I'm a proud member of the Socorro ISD. Okay, thank you. Today I'm here to talk about our raise. As you can see and hear on the news, gas is going up, groceries, utilities, car insurance, property taxes, and so on. Families are struggling right now with all this. Team SISD is a district of hardworking educators, support service personnel, transportation, office personnel. Excuse me. Everyone is dedicated to make our students their #1 priority for them to learn, grow, and be successful while in school and when they go out into the world to be great leaders. Thank you. Oh, one more thing. I have the 3 P's and the 3 R's. Pay, 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 raise, raise, raise. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Mr. Tommy Hill.
Good evening, President Morales, Superintendent Dr. Carmen, members of the board. I am Tom Hill, VP of West Texas Alliance. Since the beginning of our organization in May 2021, our purpose has been to restore respect to our profession. Respect is not only listening and validating us, but inviting us to the table to provide creative ideas. Create policy and work on issues that matter to our members. Respect is honoring our time, addressing systematic issues to provide a better work-life balance for our teachers and our other employees. Respect is treating us with dignity and implementing compensation that is not just adequate, but is optimal for the work that we do. We attended the financial committee meeting last week and know that there are still several figures and information to include the TASB study, that we need to make an informed compensation proposal. We will be gathering this information and requesting compensation that respects our profession, be it teachers or bus drivers. A compensation that reflects appreciation and acknowledgement of our demanding work, sacrifice, and dedication. A compensation that incorporates a good insurance plan, addresses inflation, which is very high, and still provides the best education for our students. West Texas Alliance was established to restore respect to our profession, and we look forward to collaborating with you to accomplish this. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And finally, our last speaker is Ms. Leanne Wells.
President Morales, members of the board, Dr. Carmen, and guests, I want to say thank you for letting me speak to you and address you tonight. My name is Leanne Wells, and I am here on behalf of the M. Stretz Memorial Foundation regarding item number 9D6 on the agenda. It's a facilities request for the use of the Socorro High School cafeteria for a celebration of life service for Ms. Stretz. I just wanted to, you heard Dr. Astorga's comments about Ms. Stretz, and I just kind of wanted to go over and read to you some feedback from members of the community about what Ms. Stretz meant to them and why it would be so meaningful to be able to have a celebration of life for the community so that they can kind of get some closure in her passing. I'd like to start with a letter from Michelle Moe. She is the athletic trainer at America's High School. She has been since they opened. She's still there. She says, I first met Marcy Stretz in 1997 when I became an athletic trainer at America's High School. She was a tremendous influence on me as a trainer. I began my career at America straight out of college, and the advice and support she gave me was indispensable to my development as a seasoned athletic trainer that I am today. She was a great friend and colleague and a tremendous boost to my self-confidence. Ms. Stretz was a mentor to so many Socorro High School student athletic training assistants and sports medicine students and created a legacy of those who went on to become healthcare providers here in El Paso, the state of Texas, and across the country. Marcy selflessly served the Socorro High School community for 30 years. She was in the minority of female athletic trainers in the city of El Paso at a time she came here and blazed a trail for women in the field of athletic training. She was highly respected by her colleagues in El Paso and demonstrated by her induction to the Sun City Athletic Trainers Association Hall of Fame 2012. I have another comment from Jasmine Hernandez, one of her former student athletic trainers, on learning on Ms. Strett's passing. She says, my heart is heavy knowing you've passed, but I know in heaven is rejoicing for you. Thank you for planting seeds of love for medicine. Thank you for creating a safe place where I found a lifetime of friendships. Thank you for being patient and kind when nobody else was. Thank you for being my second family. When things were hard at home, you've made my life, and I will forever be grateful for you. Let's see. I apologize, I've got a whole stack of things. Marisol Mendiola, she was another athletic trainer. She used to call Ms. Stretz mom, as many of her trainers did. She said, I can't thank you enough for all the great memories. Thank you for being a second mom to me and being there for me all the time. Thank you for listening when I needed to vent and for the advice you always gave me. Thank you for loving and caring for us. I'll miss you every single second of the day. Another student, Catherine Santa Cruz, posted, "Going through my stuff today, I found a letter of recommendation you wrote to get my scholarship, and my heart broke into half. You were there for me whenever I needed something. You were the best mentor I could learn of, and I miss you so much. I will always remember you." I do have these printed out, and I don't want to take up everybody's time. You know, y'all have enough to do, but I just wanted to, if I can, I give them to you guys. That way you can just kind of see the impact. You'll find a bunch of students, former, past, present, colleagues, all throughout the community that Marcy really had an impact on, and I think it would be a wonderful gesture on behalf of the district to be able to approve our facilities request to have this celebration of life.
Thank you. At this time, we're going to move to item 8, district reports. Facility reports, a presentation of the 2017 bond program and other construction projects will be provided for the board at this time. Mr. Tom Ianton, our presenter.
Good evening, President Morales, Dr. Carmen, members of the board. My presentation begins on page 22. Socorro High School is moving along real fast. It's approaching about 75% complete. We are doing a lot of work on the second phase, which is the early college high school and the HPA Academy, and along with the entrance of the main building, which faces Alameda. And as you can see here, this is the view of the college, early college wing, the two-story addition. The circular structure in the center is the view of the main entrance. You can see that the exterior glazing is going up, and we're still framing, doing metal framing, structural framing for the rest of the support of the entrance on the circular portion of the building. The view of the fine arts area is coming along real well, which is the area that is incorporating the renovated auditorium along with the dance rooms and the other color guards rooms. As you can see, they're in the finishing stages. We're placing installation of lights, and the walls are textured and have a primary coat on the finishes, so we're in the finishing stage on a lot of that portion of the building. The view of the HPA wing, the corridor, the view of the locker areas, which is coming along real well on that portion of the building. And you can see that the ensemble room and the band room are taking final finishes and final ceiling work and acoustical work in those two areas. Also, we are working in the pit area. We actually took the pit over last month in order to start the renovations in the pit. And you can see some of that duct work and the MEP work going on in the pit. The next project we are moving into is Montwood High School, which is basically completed. However, I mentioned last month that we are looking at additional proposals to do the renovations to the parking lots on the west and east side of the building. The CM at Risk received 2 proposals. Good news is both proposals were well within the budget, and right now we are waiting for recommendations on which ones we will be going with on that. And then we'll be able to also meet with the administration to work out the safety issues as far as the fencing and guard gates and stuff in that. So the good news is that those proposals are within the budget. Next is America's High School. We took possession, we received our TCOs back in February, and we're working on our final COs with the city. I did receive a deductive change order today that we will start reviewing. It's in the amount of $1,443,999.35 on that particular project. So we will look at that numbers and prepare the appropriate documentations and hopefully bring that in May to the board for the acceptance of the deductive change order, final contract price, along with the final payment to the general contractor. Next project is El Dorado High School. We are approaching completion on that, doing a lot of work interior-wise, doing a lot of punch work and miscellaneous finish work. We're also doing some exterior work on some of the CTE areas, the automotive and the welding area canopies. We also are working in the interior, finalizing some of the interior renovated spaces and the teachers' workrooms on the C and D wings. Along with the new fine arts area, which are completed or near completed. Our next project is the new student activity complex. As Dr. Carmen stated, we will be having a groundbreaking ceremony Monday at April the 25th at 10 a.m. This is eventually what it's going to look like in a little less than 2 years, because they've been working on it for about a month. We're at about 3% completion. And you can see that there, from the aerials, there's a lot of the dirt work going on, and if you're able to come out Monday, you'll see that a lot of the parking lot has been torn up, and we are working on finalizing the parking lot and moving a lot of dirt for the new complex, as you can see in these pictures. The support service technology, or the Technology Service Center, is completed. We are just waiting for the finalization of the closeout documents, and hopefully we'll be presenting those in May on the Technology Service Center. The East Lake High School sports lighting has been completed. I met with the contractor and the engineer a week or so ago, right before the break, to see what was the status to finalize this project. I required or suggested that we do a little bit of more testing on the light poles. Other than that, the project is completed. We are waiting for the results of those additional tests, and then we will close out that project. The new combo school, Ben Narbuth and East Lake Middle School, is approaching over 80% complete and is moving fast and furious, as you can see with the aerial of the combo school. You've seen this picture as it continues to grow, and they continue to do some of the exterior work around the building. But as far as in the interior of the elementary school, which will be completed for move-in this July and start of school, is in finishing stages. A lot of the work is being done. We are anticipation of having the furniture arrive in June in order to anticipate the start of the new school year. And you can see that the kitchen areas is being completed, and we'll start doing the flooring on that. And the library area is in the final stages. And then, of course, the middle school is following right behind that. Of course, I have informed y'all that it will start the following school year, July of '23, but it will be completed before the end of this year. The bus canopy is moving along. We're over 50% complete on that. You can see that the metal building or the canopy structure is up, and we are working on doing the electrical work and finalizing the roofing and the panels to the bus canopy. And these are some aerials that you can see that the connection is made between the two buildings. And our final project is the SISD maintenance office facility, which will be built next to this building. We received the 100% DD drawings today. I'll have my staff review those and get back with the architect on any comments on it. But you can see that this is the site plan. I think a few months back there was some concerns from the transportation department about the entrances, the two entrances that you see here with the lack of lights. And of course we will put lights on this project to help both the existing entrance, well, both of them are existing entrances, and then we're looking at another entrance into the visitor or the staff parking lot in the front of the building. Of course, Rojas is going to get ready to start construction. I hadn't heard the release date, so when it does, it's going to be pretty congested out front. But we will address both of those entrances with exterior lightings, as the transportation people had noted prior. And of course, this is the floor plan. We will be relocating from the Valley, our Tanton office, our print shop, which is on the far left-hand side, our grounds department, our locksmith, and our special system. And then we'll have some excess space for potential storage and storage of furniture if we receive furniture in for our new campuses. You know, we'll be able to house them in this building. And that completes my presentation. I'll answer any questions.
President Morales, I got a question.
Go ahead, Mr. Miller.
Mr. Arrington, do you know the status on the shelving for the library in Socorro High School? I know they've been having some issues, and I think they went and swapped back and forth between vendors. Where do we stand with that? Because I saw the books just laying on tables and on the floor.
I saw a picture today, and I'm heading out there tomorrow to look at a couple of things. The shelving is installed, and it's up. We finally got it. It was one of those things that was affected by COVID and sat on a barge or a container for months and months until it finally made landfall. We do have some shortage of a couple of shelves units, and we're working with the vendor just like we do normally on any of our FF&E fixture, furniture, and equipment when we get shortage.
Did they say how long it would take to get the remaining?
No, that's something that I want to follow up on as far as the quantities.
Thank you. I've got another question by Ms. Nahara.
Mr. Arrington, with the construction of the SAC 2, and you stated that some of the original SAC parking lot is fenced off, when we start football season, is that going to create a parking problem?
It's going to take a majority of the parking. All the visitor parking has been taken away because of the construction, because that's where majority of the construction is being handled. And then in front of the existing athletics office, we are redoing that parking lot, more islands, and bringing it up to code and stuff. But that is under construction. The first year, I would say that the parking is going to be very limited, or not as much as what we have had in the past because of the construction. And then the first year is going to be the worst, but once we get further in and phase it, you know, other parking will begin to open up.
Okay, thank you.
Looking into a contingency for the parking right now, or additional?
Yeah, I've met with, we've tossed it around with JJ, the athletic director, and we talked about shuttles from the police services or the DSC, you know, if the parking gets that congested. So that's a possibility.
I had a quick question. Is there any space outside of the area where we're having the construction where maybe we can use as a temporary?
We're using basically all the land that we purchased.
Okay.
You know, I have a four-wheel drive pickup, and I drove out there, and PR was following me in their cars, and even with the road that the contractor made, it's not rough, it's sandy, and you can get stuck, you know, but we can look at certain areas. We have some areas that we designated during the day for the contractors to stage and park the workers and stuff, because once that project gets going, you know, there's going to be more and more contractors, more employees working on it. But in the evening, that should be available for football games and stuff, that parking. So, you know.
Is that south of the
it's
tunnel?
No, it's going to be on the north side.
On the north side? Okay.
Yeah, it's on the north side.
I know we have some space on the south end that extends out when we have, let's say, a big crowd. We usually use that. It's a dirted area. It's not sand, but it's an
yeah,
area.
and that particular area is where our field events are going to be going, and so that construction is going to be ongoing. So, you know, as I stated, once we phase and start bringing in certain phases of the project, then it would open up some additional space.
Perfect.
But, you know, it just takes that much space to build this facility. We purchased the 60 acres, and we're using all of that 60 acres, plus what we own.
Thank you. Are there any other questions for Mr. Arrington?
We lost about 80% of the parking there right now, would you say?
Sir?
There's about 80% of the parking's gone?
I'd say it's probably more 75% is gone. Yeah, there's about a third of the parking that's left.
That's going to present a problem in the football season. So I don't know if we can work with our OEM section to work out a contingency and have something in writing that how we can do it to present it to the high schools when the games do start, especially the visiting schools, and how we can address this, because it will present a traffic nightmare.
Sure. We can get with our committees and the
especially the visiting schools. They'll need to know how to approach.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Good point. Thank you.
Thank you,
Mr. Arrington. Appreciate it. Our next item on the agenda is consent agenda. At this time, are there any items to be pulled?
Motion to approve consent agenda?
Second.
We have a motion by Ms. Cindy Nahara and a second by Mr. Michael Nahara. No further questions or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries. We're going to move to item 10, new business. A, consider approval of administrator certified and non-certified contracts recommendation for 2022-2023 school year. Our presenter, Mr. Thomas Redlinger.
Good evening, Board President Morales, Superintendent Dr. Carmen, and members of the board. Administration is requesting approval of administrator certified and non-certified contract recommendations for the 2022-2023 school year. This information has been verified by the Department of Human Resources and was presented to you in your weekly packet, and will also include the additional information that you received tonight in your folder. Administration recommends consideration and approval of this item as presented.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Eddie Mena and a second. I'm sorry, I repeat. Oh, I apologize. We have a motion by Mr. Paul Guerra and a second by Ms. Cynthia Nahara. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries. Thank you. You have the next item, I would imagine, yes. We got to consider approval of professional contract recommendations for 2022-2023 school year. Mr. Redlinger.
Good evening again, Board President Morales, Superintendent Dr. Carmen, and members of the board. Administration recommends consideration and approval of the 2022-2023 professional contract recommendations for teachers, librarians, nurses, counselors, speech-language pathologists, therapists, and education diagnosticians. This information has been verified by the Department of Human Resources and was presented to you in the weekly packet and will also include the additional information that you received tonight in your folder. Administration recommends consideration and approval of this item as presented.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Eddie Mena and a second by Mr. Paul Guerra. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Redling. Item 10C, consider approval of improvement of the existing school zones with crosswalks for Eastlake High School. Our presenter, Mr. Tom Ianton.
Yes, good evening, President Morales, Dr. Carmen, members of the board. Back in March the 25th, we met with the administration at Eastlake High School, along with the county sheriff, the county administration, the sheriff's department, RPD, and other individuals to discuss the school zones at Eastlake High School. I've got a little aerial here that basically shows the bluish line to the left of the school site. That's Peyton Road. And if you've been there, if you go to the back towards the Fine Arts facility, it's kind of a hill. And they're saying that people are coming out of the Sparks subdivision and coming down that hill and going pretty fast and don't see the existing school zone. So during that meeting, we recommended to extend that particular school zone and the speed limit there, as you can see. And then we proposed to put some flasher. Now, working with the county is a little bit different than working with our city. We are able to use solar flashers. And, you know, so they will allow us to put additional flashers in that locations to help reduce the speed and help with that. Now, once the south side of Peyton begins to develop, we will probably have people or students coming from the south to the north into the property. At that time, the county requires the developer of the properties and stuff to put the sidewalks in, and we will work with them as far as locations of crosswalks and stuff. But right now, we don't really have a lot of people coming in from the south side of Peyton. Now, on the Emerald Pass side of the school, there is some concerns with some additional crosswalks. And down at the far right-hand corner, I guess if I point, it won't show up on that. But you can see the baseball field. At that baseball field, there is a T intersection, Emerald Sands, and there's a three-way stop there. And then you go through that stop heading south about 20 yards or so, and then it picks up the school zone. We talked to them about that location, possibly putting a crosswalk in there at that location, and then also putting a crosswalk down in front of the schools where you can see the locations of the businesses being built. Kids are starting to cross Emerald Sands just arbitrarily, jaywalking and things like that. So we will be working with them to locate a crosswalk that is convenient, even though the school is theoretically closed, you know, but they do still find a way to go to Sonic and Wendy's, you know, and there'll be other fast food locations along that. However, the major issue, if you go to that three-way sign and you go west up Emerald Sands, and it tees into East Lake Boulevard. East Lake Boulevard is a 6-lane highway. That particular intersection has had multiple wrecks, and a school bus was involved in a wreck there too. We talked to the county about possibly putting a traffic light there. However, those things run about $500,000. So they are looking at investigating the possibility of installing that, you know, but it's very pricey to do a traffic light. So what I'm asking tonight is that if we can hire a consultant to work on some of these additional crosswalks, and for a total price of about $50,000, and that would include the construction of these additional solar flashers and crosswalks and stuff. You know, it would help that school district, that school campus with that extension of the paint and drive, and then the additional placement of additional crosswalks. And as I stated, the county would investigate the placement of a traffic light at East Lake and Emerald Sands. The board must determine that the school zone expense serves the purpose of advancing education and protecting its students' safety. Administration recommends approval of hiring a consultant in the amount of $50,000, which would include the construction of these zones.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I got a question, President Morales.
We have a question on the floor, Mr. Barrera. We had a motion, but we'll go ahead and honor your question.
The consultant, has it already been hired, or we're still?
No, it has not been hired. We've got one that you'll see in a minute that we have used on the Ben Narbuth and middle school, East Lake Middle School, and we'll probably contact them and get a proposal from them.
So this is for their services plus installation of the flashers, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Any other further questions? We had a motion by Mr. Paugueta and a second by Mr. Eddie Mena. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Arrington. Are you on the, yeah, I thought so. We got a 10D, consider approval of placement of county-approved school zones with crosswalks for Ben Narbuth Elementary School. Mr. Arrington?
Yes, this aerial doesn't show the school like on my construction aerial, so this is not really an updated, but it will show you that the road on the bottom, that is Bob Hope. And Bob Hope is currently a 45-mile-an-hour speed limit. The county, we approached them to reduce that speed, and we were hoping that they would reduce it to 15 miles an hour. However, they would only go down to 30. So we are still discussing that matter with them. But along Bob Hope, we would we'd make the extension of the school zone with crosswalks and do 9 solar power flashers. Now, on each end of the school, as you can see the lines, is Air Coop Way, has a school zone with standard parkway signage, and Sky Blazer is the other school zone with crosswalks and standard parkways. As I stated, we're working with the county. They work real well with us and allow us to do solar flashers. And we will continue to work with this. The cost of this is estimated to be around $215,000. The board must determine that the school zone expense serves the purpose of advancing education and protecting its students' safety. Administration recommends consideration and approval as presented.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Yes, we had a motion by Mr. Paul Guerra and a second by Mr. Michael Nahara. We had a question. Go ahead, Mr.
On, that's Runway Avenue? I don't know how it's north.
One is Air Coop Way and Sky Blazer.
Okay, the one that's not marked, it would be on the top of the map where you show housing there.
Oh, up there, okay.
Yeah, it shows like a road coming into the back of the school. Lot. Is that going to be utilized for?
We have a kind of a access around the site that is on our property, if that's what you're talking about. That's on our property inside our fence line for our maintenance facility.
Is that going to be closed? No.
Yes, yeah,
Okay,
it'll be, it's fenced in, yes, sir.
But I mean, it won't be used during school hours?
No, no, sir, no, no.
That's all I had.
With that said, we had a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries. Thank you. Next item, item 10E, consider approval and placement of school flashers for Cactus Trails and Sergeant Jose Carrasco Elementary Schools. Presenter, Mr. Tom Ianton.
Yes, in your package, you have a quote from the city of El Paso Engineering. One is for Cactus Trails in the amount of $295,217 to install the overhead flashers at that site. And then for Sergeant Crosco, $291,540 for those overhead lights. And I think there's a picture of Cactus Trail where you can see the black line in the street where the school zone begins and ends on each side. One's on Ralph Setzinger Drive, and the other one's on Mike Price on the opposite side. And then at Carrasco, you have Tim Floyd Street and Terra Mirage Avenue. The estimate costs are from the City of El Paso Engineering Department, as you see in your booklet. And the administration recommends approval. Well, the board must determine that the school zone expense serves the purpose of advancing education and protecting its student safety. Administration recommends approval of the installation of the school flashers at Crosco and Sargent and Cactus Trail Elementary as presented. Now, these we don't know when they're going to be presented. We're at the mercy of the school, at the city. So we're working with them to get a timeline. But we have to approve it in order for them to put it in the process and stuff, as we've done in the past.
President Morales, I have a question to ask.
Mr. Guerra, go ahead.
Barrington, obviously for the price we're looking at over close to $600,000, since these are in the city, these are not solar, correct?
Those are not solar, they're the overhead electrical.
And the other ones in the county have been solar, so that way, that's why they're more expensive. In any time, will the city allow us to go solar?
We have asked them on a number of occasions, and they will not. They just are not receptive to it. But we constantly ask them, comparing them to our county, so.
Do you have any idea why they would reject?
No, other than that they control everything once they're put in, and they can set the time and everything from a office location. I suppose a solar location, you have to kind of go out there and work on each of the, each of the solar flashers, But we keep asking.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion by Mr. Paul Guerra and a second by Mr. Castellano. Without further questions, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Mr. Arrington. Our next item, item 10F, consider approval of TASB Update 118 and local policy. Our presenter, Ms. Maribel Macias.
President Morales, Dr. Carmen, members of the board, at this time, administration recommends consideration and approval of the following policies. There is one policy that administration is recommending to pull at this time, which is policy DP. We will be bringing that back in a further future board meeting. If you notice, most of the policies, a recommendation from TASB was to remove or designee in the verbiage. Administration recommends to keep superintendent or designee within the policy. Policy DFE does not include designee. The reason being is within the verbiage, it actually assigns individuals as the designees. So with that, administration recommends TASB Update 118, as you mentioned, policy CFD, CQB, DFE, EHAA, FDE, FEC, and FFG, and local policies CVA, CVB, CR, DC, and EIC. Any questions?
Motion to approve? With the exception of DP. Yeah, because she didn't call it.
Yeah. Well, because it's just written.
Recommendation for approval at this time.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor to approve. All those in favor? I'm sorry. From Ms. Cynthia Nahara, and a second by Mr. Castellano. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Ms. Nahida, for reading my brain.
I got you. Discussion and possible action to approve revision and amendment to the approved compensation plan and stipend list to include new and amended UIL stipends and Reading Academy stipend. Ms. Maribel Macias.
President Morales, Dr. Carmen, members of the board, administration requests your approval to add 2 new academic UIL stipends, as you see on the screen, to the 2021-22 compensation plan. And it's for 6th grade UIL science, which is for our middle schools and pre-K-8 campuses, and best robotics, which is for our high school campuses. These stipends are not currently within the approved compensation plan, thus the request for approval.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Hey, you forgot the Reading Academy one? Were you going to go there?
Yes, on that one, sir, thank you for bringing it up. After further review for the Reading Academy, we found that the Reading Academy stipends have been previously budgeted for the 2020-2021 school year and the 2021-22 school year. So those items were within your approved compensation plan for both of the years. So that was an oversight, so therefore my recommendation is only to approve those 2 new UIL fine arts stipends. Thank you for the clarification, Mr. Castellano.
And it's just for the 2 stipends, right? The UIL and the Reading Academy to amend the compensation plan at this time.
That is correct. Those are the only 2 that have not been within the compensation plan previously. And based on your feedback as the board is that any new stipends that were not included within this current year's stipend plan are the ones that we will be presenting for your review.
I did have a motion by Ms. Cindy Nahara, and I believe it was Mr. Eddie Mena, a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries. Thank you. Once again.
I'm on a
Our
roll.
next item, go ahead. Discussion and possible action to approve New Mexico Highlands University and Socorro Independent School District's College Accessibility Support Initiative.
Yes, President Morales, Dr. Carmen, members of the board, administration is here to recommend your approval of this MOU with the University of New Mexico Highlands University. If you notice within your board book, this initiative will actually provide many of our students the ability to automatically qualify, and it actually gives them almost a full ride depending on where they fall. They will also receive support from New Mexico Highlands University. And during last week's Superintendent Student Advisory Committee, there was one of our high school seniors that actually referred to Dr. Carmen and said, Dr. Carmen, you need to work on getting some more opportunities with different universities and colleges outside of El Paso. Obviously, he wanted to leave El Paso. And with that, Dr. Carmen replied and said, done. We have one in front of us and will be presented to the board today. So all the information is within there. Of course, I'm speaking for Mr. Herrera and his amazing team as far as the support that we be given by our counselors, and we actually have our Gear Up academies in each of our high schools that will ensure that this MOU is implemented appropriately.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Eddie Mena and a second by Ms. Cindy Nahara. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries.
Thank you.
Our next item, we have a discussion and possible action to approve the new administrative pay grade scale. Mr. Thomas Redlinger.
Good evening, Board President Morales, Superintendent Dr. Carmen, and members of the board. Administration recommends consideration and approval of the new administration pay scale that is associated with the new administrative job descriptions that was approved earlier.
Motion to approve?
Second.
We have a motion by Ms. Cindy Nahara and a second by Mr. Eddie Mena. All those in favor?
I got a question.
Before we have a question, all those, go ahead.
It says the pay scale for 2021, 2022. That's for this year? Page 251.
Yes. Yeah, they are. It is for this year. Yes, it is for this year, sir.
It's for the remainder of this year.
Correct.
From here forward. Okay, but don't we have a TASB study coming up on the pay scales? Or is this from a previous?
Yeah, this is totally separate than the TASB pay scale that we're initiating. This is for the new job descriptions that were approved earlier in the agenda, and is for the new scale above the 109. This is for the 110.
This is just for the 110 position? Okay.
Correct.
I just want to clarify that.
That is correct.
Okay, I got the clarification here. That's all I need to know.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Question.
Go
Mr.
ahead,
Redlinger,
Mr.
so
Mena.
nothing else is changing except that final table for grade 110, correct?
That is correct.
Should have said so. Okay, thank you.
We did have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries. Thank you. And finally, we have item 10J, discussion and possible action to provide notice to Bickerstaff Heath Delgado Acosta LLP to end engagement of redistricting services and select alternate provider to complete the redistricting services based on the 2020 census. Our presenter, Mr. Steve Blanco.
Thank you, Board President Morales, Dr. Carmen, members of the board. At a prior meeting, first in September 21 of 2021, This item was first presented to the board, and we had 3 different firms offer services for the redistricting work. This is to review the 2020 census and determine whether or not, and we know that it probably will be, the districts need to be redrawn and reconstituted to account for changes in the population. At that meeting, the board initially awarded the work to the Bickerstaff Heath Delgado Costa law firm. They have just commenced that work. I believe under the timelines that were presented by each of the firms that presented, Bickerstaff Heath, Sierra Leone, and Thompson and Horton, we're well within the range of time to complete this work. We actually were way ahead at the time that we did it, which is good. It's always good to be early. Based on information from Dr. Carmen and the administration, there's been a desire to change the firm that's going to be providing those services. The Bickerstaff Heath engagement allows you to change it for any reason. So it just requires notice. We're going to be providing them notice that their services will cease. Any work that they've done up to the time of the notice is compensated to them, so we'll cover that. Going forward, it's the request and the recommendation of administration that we move that work and those services to the Thompson and Horton firm. Thompson and Horton was one of the firms that presented at the last selection process in September of 2021, so they're within the range of prices. The prices are roughly the same. Each of the firms presented a not-to-exceed price. The Bickerstaff Heath not-to-exceed price was $37,500. Thompson and Horton's not-to-exceed price is $35,000, so it's a little bit cheaper. The rates that Thompson and Horton are charging are also a little bit less than the Delgado Costa, the Bickerstaff Heath Delgado Costa rates. The rates from Bickerstaff Heath Delgado Costa were $420 to $480 an hour. Thompson and Horton has proposed a rate of $350 an hour. So it's well within the range of the costs. The administration has requested 2 things. One, that you allow us to provide notice to the Bickerstaff Heath Delgado Costa firm to end the engagement for redistricting services and to contract with Thompson and Horton as an alternate vendor for those services. So with the recommendation of administration, we ask that you approve that.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Pablo Barrera and a second by Ms. Cindy Nahara.
Questions?
Ernie, further question? Go ahead, discussion.
Why are we making the change?
There was a meeting on April the 12th. We had a closed session discussion regarding the services that had been previously provided by that firm to Dr. Carmen's former district, and just based on feel and comfort and knowledge, a recommendation was made to switch to the Bickerstaff Heath firm.
Okay. Another question.
With that said, we had a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Blanco. I'm going to move to executive session. The meeting is to be closed for discussion with legal counsel regarding personal action concerning NM Assistant Principal and Special Assignment at District Service Center for discussion regarding personal action concerning PC, counselor at Sergeant Jose F. Carrasco Elementary School, and to discuss personnel and real estate matters to consider administrative recommendations for assistant principal position at Benito Martinez Elementary School and Lujan Chavez Elementary School, and Dean of Instruction position at Americas High School under Texas Code Section 551.071, 551.072, and 551.074. Our time is 8:05, and we will go to executive session. We are back in session. The time is 8:41. Item 12A, discussion and possible action to approve new employment terms and contract for NM Assistant Principal on special assignment at District Service Center. Our presenter, Mr. Steve Blanco.
And thank you, Board President Morales, Dr. Carmen, members of the board. I gave you a summary of the current employment status for this particular individual, NM, who was an assistant principal at Lujan Chavez. Based on a personal matter and a request from this particular employee, she has asked that although she is currently under an administrator's contract, that she be allowed to take a teaching or SCEI coach position. It'll most likely be an SCEI coach position, although either is available to her, and that she be allowed to be demoted. It's a voluntary request. It was made in writing, and she will be issued instead a teaching contract, which she will have to accept. With the recommendation of the administration, we're asking the board to approve this request from the employee and allow her to receive a new contract under a demotion status from assistant principal to either a teaching or SCEI coach position.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right. We have a motion by Mr. Pablo Barrera and a second by Mr. Eddie Mena. No further questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed?
I abstain.
Motion carries. Our next item, we have, again, Mr. Blanco, discussion and possible action to approve a request by PC counselor at Sergeant F. Carrasco Elementary School to rescind her submitted voluntary resignation. Sir?
Thank you, Board President Morales, Dr. Carmen, members of the board again. I gave you an update and a status report on the request by this particular employee. We have a counselor at Sergeant Jose F. Carrasco Elementary School who believed, at least at one time for a very short period of time, about 10 days, that she wanted to leave the district and take another job. And the issue is that she submitted her voluntary resignation and it was accepted. The only way to undo that is to authorize Dr. Carmen to rescind the resignation and allow her to return to her position. It is a request from the principal, Mr. Sepulveda, that she be allowed to return. She's been a good employee. She made a mistake. She doesn't want to leave Socorro ISD. She likes it here and she wants to stay. So with the recommendation of the administration, we're asking that you allow Dr. Carmen to rescind the accepted voluntary resignation and allow the employee to return to her position at Sergeant Jose F. Carrasco Elementary School.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Michael Nájera and a second by Mr. Pablo Barrera. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Blanco.
Thank you.
And finally, we have item 12C, consider approval of administrative recommendations. Our presenters, Dr. Nate Carmen, pertaining to Assistant Principal, Benito Martinez Elementary School, Lujan Chavez Elementary School, Dean of Instruction, Americas High School. Sir?
President Morales and members of the board, administration recommends Rosa Irene Rojas to assume the role and responsibilities as the new assistant principal of Benito Martinez Elementary School.
Motion to approve. Second.
We had a motion by Mr. Eddie Mena and a second by Mr. Oh,
No, he
okay,
did it.
it was
I
both.
seconded.
Okay, I got it, I'm sorry. We had a motion by Mr. Paul Guerra and a second by Mr. Eddie Mena. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries.
President Morales and members of the board, administration recommends Dulce Alaman to assume the role and responsibilities as the new assistant principal of Lujan Chavez Elementary School.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I heard that.
Don't
over
say
there.
anything anymore.
We had a motion by Mr. Eddie Mena and a second by Mr. Pablo Barrera. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries.
President Morales and members of the board, administration recommends Maribel Gonzalez to assume the role and responsibilities as the new Dean of Instruction of Americas High School.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Pablo Barrera and a second by Mr. Eddie Mena. All those in, what was
Is
it?
it Eddie?
It was
I thought
me.
you seconded.
Oh, we're right.
You did
this-
right. Yeah, you did
They
right.
sound the
Sorry.
same.
They do.
Go ahead, you're doing good.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion carries, and we're tired, I think. If there's no further business for this board, the meeting is adjourned at 8:46.